Hola chicos y chicos, chicas y chicos. That sounded weird. Hola chicas y chicos. So today we're going to be comparing and contrasting similar stories based on their theme. So let me read this worksheet because you can actually hear the stories. You can go to YouTube, find the stories. So we're not going to provide any text for them because we want you to go to YouTube and watch the stories. Okay? So um I am going to assume that we have watched already Little Red Riding Hood and Goldilocks and the Three Bears. So I'm going to assume that we have already watched them and we know the stories. And I'm going to use those two stories to compare and contrast the themes. So we have the table right here, and I am going to go ahead and just read this page out loud. You are going to have a you're going to have this right here, so you can compare the story Cinderella and Mufaro's beautiful daughters. Then you're going to go ahead and answer this. On Friday, you're going to compare and contrast the stories A Chair for My Mother and Those Shoes, and with this table right here. And then you're going to answer these questions right here. Okay, now that we have that, I'm going to go ahead and start reading this for you. Okay, so when you're comparing and contrasting a story, you look at the different parts of the story. So that you look at the setting, you look at the plot, you look at the character, you look at the problem, the solution, and the overall theme. After comparing them, you can write a short paragraph describing what is the same and different in each story. So watch the two videos and look at the graphic organizer. So just how I said, we're going to pretend that we have already watched these two videos. Finally, see the paragraph example below, underline words that are compare and contrast words. Now you can do this on your own. Yay! Okay, so we have the Little Red Riding Hood. The setting is in the woods. So when she goes into the forest and blah, blah, blah. So that's the setting. The setting is where it takes place, where the story takes place. The plot, so basically, it's just a girl goes alone to her grandma's house. That's the plot. The main character is the little girl, so Little Red Riding Hood. The problem is she left the path and talked to a stranger and got eaten by a wolf. A solution is the hunter saved her and saved her grandma. The theme, if you don't follow the rules, you could get into big trouble. So that is the theme of Little Red Riding Hood. And we worked with Little Red Riding Hood last week, so you should be very well aware of what happens in that story. Now let's talk about Goldilocks and the Three Bears. It also takes place in the woods because bears live in the woods, and the plot alone going into a stranger's house. If you remember, she goes into a stranger's house and she tries everything like their soup, their chair, their bed. Okay, so the main character is also a little girl. The problem is she went into the stranger's house, broke a bunch of stuff, and got caught by the bears. The solution is that she jumped out of the window and escaped. And the theme, if you don't follow the rules, you could get into big trouble. So, this is after I considered everything. I look over here and I notice, okay, so what is something that they both have in common? Well, it looks like they're both have in common, like something that have in common is that they both happened in the woods. They're both about a little girl, and they're both about something where they broke some sort of rule. Okay, so the paragraph. The story The Little Red Riding Hood and Goldilocks and the Three Bears are both, underline that comparing and contrasting word, both about little girls who go into the woods. They are similar because they both have little girls alone and breaking the rules they were given and getting into danger. They are different because Little Red Riding Little Red was going to Grandma's house and Goldilocks went into a stranger's house without permission. Another way the stories were different was that Little Red had to be rescued by the hunter, and Goldilocks saved herself by jumping out the window. The theme in both stories was the same because it was about following rules. In this case, if you don't follow the rules, you could get into big trouble. So that would be my comparing and contrasting paragraph. Notice how I use both, similar, same, or different, and how to compare and contrast. You have this right here so you can compare by saying both, alike, similar, the same as, just like, also, and as well. So comparing is when things are alike or the same, so they're similar. Now contrasting is when something is different or not the same, so different but however unlike, on the other hand, while, in contrast, although. So these are all words that mean that there's something different. And these are all words that mean something is the same. So, example of comparing: the square is similar to a rectangle because they both have four straight sides as well as four right angles. Example of contrasting would be: the square is different from the rectangle because although it has four sides, only two sides are the same length. So once again, you're going to go ahead and do this for today. You're actually only going to be using, we only have 2 worksheets. So that's like 2 days worth of work, but really it's a lot because you have to have 2 stories and you have to fill in this part right here. And you are also going to be creating a paragraph. So you have 3 days to complete both worksheets. So this is 1 and 2. That's 3 days. Okay, boys and girls, that is it for today. And I'm going to go ahead and link I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to not only link this page right here, but I am also going to link the videos separately. So there's going to be worksheet 1 and then worksheet 2, and you can go ahead and have everything for worksheet 1 together and worksheet 2 together in 2 separate assignments. Okay, so that is it for today. Bye bye, chicos y chicas.